Part of understanding the events of the Easter weekend is to understand the love that was shown to each of us through Christ's life, death, and resurrection. Likewise, Lent's preparation is not only to confess, forgive, and fast, but also to prepare our minds with the wonder of how God Himself is in love with us. However, we should never view our Lenten sacrifices as a way of earning or achieving a greater standing with God. His love for us never changes, so no Lenten fasting or improved prayer life changes how He feels about us. Let's take a look at Luke chapter 15, verses 11 through 32. Then he said, "A man had 2 sons, and the younger son said to his father, 'Father, give me the share of your estate that should come to me.' So the father divided the property between them. After a few days, the younger son collected all his belongings and set off to a distant country where he squandered his inheritance on a life of dissipation. When he had freely spent everything, a severe famine struck that country, and he found himself in dire need. So he hired himself out to one of the local citizens who sent him to his farm to tend the swine. And he longed to eat his fill of the pods on which the swine fed, but nobody gave him any. Coming to his senses, he thought, 'How many of my father's hired workers have more enough food to eat than I do? Here I am dying from hunger. I shall get up and go to my father, and I shall say to him, Father, I have sinned against heaven and against you. I no longer deserve to be called your son. Treat me as you would treat one of your hired workers.' So he got up and went back to his father. While he was still a long way off, his father caught sight of him and was filled with compassion. He ran to his son, embraced him, and kissed him. His son said to him, 'Father, I have sinned against heaven and against you. I no longer deserve to be called your son.' But his father ordered his servants, 'Quickly, bring him the finest robe and put it on. Put a ring on his finger and sandals on his feet. Take the fattened calf and slaughter it. Then let us celebrate with a feast, because this son of mine was dead and has come to life again. He was lost and has been found.' Then the celebration began. Now the older son had been out in the field, and on his way back, as he neared the house, he heard the sound of music and dancing. He called one of the servants and asked what this might mean. The servant said to him, 'Your brother has returned, and your father has slaughtered the fattened calf because he has him back safe and sound.' He became angry, and when he refused to enter the house, his father came out and pleaded with him. He said to his father in reply, 'Look, all these years I served you, and not once did I disobey your orders. Yet you never gave me even a young goat to feast on with my friends. But when your son returns who swallowed up your property with prostitutes, for him you slaughter the fattened calf.' He said to him, 'My son, you are here with me always. Everything I have is yours. But now we must celebrate and rejoice, because your brother was dead and has come to life again. He was lost and has been found.'" It is also important to recognize that sometimes we are tired and in need of rest, not just during Lent, but during other seasons too. Overdoing it might not be the most appropriate course of action for you, and that's okay. Sometimes feeding your mind with the truth of God's love can serve you better than going without food at work. God doesn't call us to spend Lent struggling mentally or spiritually for the sake of bodily sacrifice.
As we reflect on this 4th week of Lent, we reflect in joyful anticipation of what is to come. Let's join in singing How He Loves.
He is jealous for me, loves like a hurricane. I am a tree, bending beneath the weight of His wind and mercy. When all of a sudden I'm unaware of these afflictions eclipsed by glory, and I realize just how beautiful you are and how great your affections are for me. And oh, how He loves us all. Oh, how He loves us, how He loves us so.
that He loves us